Okay, so good morning, class. We will now discuss another topic. For the last time, we already have discussed three topics, right? First is what is technical communication. Second is what is technical writing. Third is tips in oral presentation. Now, we always talks about technical communication, technical writing. We will now be discussing what is the language to be used when we have when we make our letters, when we make our technical writing output. So now let's discuss the topic all about what is plain language. So usually, in making technical communication, we use languages, we use different words, no, of which we should have to adjust the ways of writing, the choice of words sa ato ang audience. Now, we will be discussing unsa dining plain language, how important plain language is in our technical communication write-up. Okay, so let's define what is plain language. So when we talk about plain language, it is also known as plain English. So it is easy to read, understand, or use. It is grammatically correct language that includes complete sentence structure and accurate usage. So when we talk about also plain language, it is clear, concise, organized, and appropriate for the audience, and is free from jargon and rarely used words and terms, and comes straight to the point being processed. So later sa tong discussion, we will be discussing unsa man ang mga languages nga dili considered as plain, no? As dili considered as plain language. So makita nato unya nga dili dayta dapat mo gamit ani nga mga words because in technical writing, we are not here to impress, no? We are here to really relay the information nga gusto nato i-relay, no? Masabtan sa reader or sa atong audience. Okay, so in writing, we should have to put ourselves in our readers' shoes. So meaning, atong ibutang atong kaugalingon sa ilahang status, sa ilahang point of view, sa ilahang kaugalingon, no? So meaning, if ato ang reader or kanang not that fluent in English, then we should have to use Bisaya if gusto silang Bisaya, no? Then we should have to ask ourselves, who is my audience? Kinsa man akong audience, no? Then what are the needs and objectives of the audience? What does my audience already know about the subject? So na-discuss naman ni nato nga dapat makabalo tanong kung asa ilahang knowledge for us to really give introduction, no? For us to really give additional information about that specific topic. Then, what questions will my audience have? So, mag-assume na tag mga questions. Kay by that, we could kanang give na, no? Kanang detailed information sa ato ang write-up. Kay dili na ta mangutana or dili na ta maghulat nga mangutana sila because usually sa technical writing, letter man na. So, kinahanglan pa dyan sila mo reply. So, dapat ang sulod sa letter naa na tanan, no? Sa matubag na tanan pangutana, no? Sa reader. So for example, let's have an example here, no? So the Dietary Guidelines for Americans recommends a half hour or more of moderate physical activity on most days, preferably every day. So the activity can include brisk walking, calisthenics, home care, gardening, moderate sports exercise, and dancing. So this is somehow wordy, no? Sa isa lang ka sentence, two sentences, murag somehow wordy, no? Of which, pwede man nato siya himuong short, no? So, sa atong past discussion, naka-discuss ta atog, we should have to keep it short and simple sa atong output. We should have to practice katong keys, no? Or keep it short and simple. So, if we want to have a clear statement, pwede ra nato i-paraphrase to, no? For example, do at least 30 minutes of exercise like brisk walking most days of the week. So pwede naman din ma-shortcut, no? So if you will have technical communication, mas better nga mas clear ta, no? Mas concise, mas short. Pero dapat dili na to tanggalon ang thought, no? So naaga po ang thought. Pero kung pwede, i-shorten lang, no? Because usually ang mga reader dili man kina sila ganahan good mo basag taas. For example na po, there's no escaping the fact that it is considered very important to note that a number of various available applicable studies, ipso facto, have generally identified the fact that additional appropriate nocturnal employment could usually keep juvenile adolescents off thoroughfares during the night hours, including but not limited to the time prior to midnight on weeknights and or 2 a.m. on weekends. So at some point, kung basahon ni, taas kayo no sa isa ra ka sentence daghan kay words no, we have 62 words of which dili kayo inana ka clear no, kanang dili kay inana ka masabtan. So we can have it short no, keep it we can make it short. So for example, more night jobs would keep kids off the streets. So pwede raman dayon ani, why not use this one no, of which dili na kay sa wordy. Okay, that's it no. So now let's discuss no unsa day ang dili considered as plain language. First is oration. So when we talk about oration, this is the definition of this is that we will make or to make golden no. Then from the Latin word aureus, which means gilding or supposed heightening of diction in one language. So what are the examples no of oration? So upsprung the golden candle. I don't know how to read this. Let's just run through no candle matutin with clear bemis crystalline. So matutin, depure, and crystalline are Oriet words. No, I don't know unsay correct pronunciation ani because di man kayo ni makita good sa Google. So let's just run through ha. So just don't mind the pronunciation. Just focus on the word no. So at some point kung motanaw ta ana class di gyud ta kasabot no. Sorry, unsa man ni? Say pasabot ani mga crystalline naman ni. No? Of which unsay pasabot ana? Uprose the sun with clear pure crystal light ra ang pasabot ani no. Upsprung the golden candle blah 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 with clear blah 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 no. So uprose the sun with clear pure crystal light. So meaning let's not use katong mga words of which dili kay ta kasabot no. Dili kasabot ang katong mga dili expert ana nga field no or ana nga mga words because in technical writing gusto lang man jud ta moabot ang atong message no sa ato ang receiver nga clear and comprehensible. So inana lang. So let's not use oration or mga Oriet words no. Next is corporate jargon. No? This is not considered as plain language. So when we talk about corporate jargon, it is the jargon often used in large corporations. No? So this the reference to such jargon is derogatory, implying the use long and complicated words. So usually, ang mga corporations, they have their own corporate jargons. No? By that, at least dira nila nasabtan no sila ray makasabot ang other mga corporations kay dili kasabot no. It's just like playing volleyball kay sa volleyball baya ang setter o ang spiker ray kasabot sa signal kung asa ipahatag no ni setter ang bola. So it's just like corporate jargons no, different corporations, different jargons ang ginagamit. So usually na po yung mga kapareha-pareho no na sila yung mga common nga jargons ginagamit. For example, kung muana inyong manager nga open the kimono, tas very wrong no kung tayo ka kasabot ana tas nakakimono pug ana tas ni ana imong manager nga open the kimono, hala makulbaan jud ka nga hala unsa man ni pahubuon naman ko ni boss, of which that is considered as corporate jargon, of which ang pasabot it is used in business, which means sharing information with an outside party. So pag mo ana na gani yung boss puhon, no? Open the jargon. So meaning the ana is pwede na nato i-sharing information. However, dili ta dapat mo gamit ani nga mga words no in technical writing because This is considered as jargon, no? Then, for example, mo na imuhang boss na pod ay inyuhang president nag-declare na or nag-announce. We will now have chapter 11. So nananaw pug unsay chapter 11. Uy, asa man ni? Unsa nang chapter 11 sa libro, no? Of which ang pasabot diana is it is considered as a US code which means bankruptcy. So nag-declare na di ay ang inyong presidente nga bankrupt na inyong corporation magana. So that is considered as corporate jargon, no? So kini sila likayan lang ni nato in making technical communication or writing. Next, gobbledygook, no? So this is also not considered as plain language. So this refers to the speech or other use of language that is nonsense or that appears to be vague, long, and involved with Latinized words. So, unsa may example ani? Also, it includes speech sounds that are not actual word. For example, jibber-jabber, no? This means rapid talk, no? So, maana ko kapaspas ba ito niya mo story, no? You're such a jibber-jabber. You're a jibber-jabber, no? Maana. Then, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. So mo ana jud ka no, usually ang uban baya mo apil og search kay a supercalifragilisticexpialidocious morning to each and every one. So inana no, of which kung tahay nagbuhat pug ka og letter no, good day. A supercalifragilistic morning. Mag-ana jud ka class. No, so it's somehow OA kaayo no at some point. So better nga, pwede naman ito gamit og beautiful or wonderful. That's enough, no, in technical writing. Dili man ta diri magpa-hambog no sa atong nahibalan. So di ta mo gamit og supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, no. Next is pneumono ultramicroscopic silicon volcanoconiosis. So ang pasabot ra dai kini is ubo, no. Murag type ni siya sa ubo, no. Of which kanang moana jud ka nga naunsa ka gikuan lagi ko pneumono ultramicroscopic silicon volcanoconiosis. So magana ay volcanoconiosis. So inana jud ka. So ana ha unsa daw unsa giingon niya friend nado volcano sa iyang bakbak kay mubuto. So inana at some point better nga mo gamit na lang jud tag simple words, no. We should have to avoid also gobbledygook, no, nga mga words. Next is legalese. Okay. So when we talk about legalese, it is a term associated with the traditional style of legal writing that is part of specialized discourse for lawyers. So usually, kining legalese mo ning ginagamit no mga words, statements no sa kanang pang-attorney or pang-lawyer. Of which kung kita mo basa malibog ta at some point kay usually sa law I don't know if naana mo'y law karon pero puhon naaman mo'y subject niyang law no kanang law 2 law 1 of which kung kita mo basa sa mga kuan sa mga statements maglibog ta no kay mo ana man na the latter should be mag-ana ang mga statements so malibog ka. So lay readers cannot really comprehend no kaning mga legalese because designed man na no designed na siya kay para sa mga lawyers ra pod kay kung tahay sayon ra pod kay pagka-state didto sa mga provisions no sa mga RAs. So kung sayon ra kaayo pwede nang walay lawyer no kay pwede man makasabot naman dito tanan. So mo nang kinahanglan gyapon natong advice no. So nagagamit sila og legalese. Kay by that ang mga lay readers kay dili kaayo na maka-comprehend no. Kay para at least sila ra po'y makasabot at some point. So murag usually baya kasagaran statement sa mga laws nga nakabutang dito sa mga RAs kay dili kita maka-gets dayon no. Kinahanglan pa nato further explanation no. So that's it no. So dili ta mo gamit pug mga legalese no sa technical writing output nato. Next is psychobabble. So it is a form of speech or writing that uses psychological jargon, buzzwords, and esoteric language to create an impression of truth or plausibility. So usually kining psychobabble ginagamit ni siya no sa mga kanang sa field sa psychology. So for example, from the word socialize. So let's socialize that idea around the group and get some feedback. So at some point malibog ka na kung sa daw. Pero pwede naman nato himuon no og simple no nga word. For example, let people know what our idea is and see if they like it. So pwede naman dai nana no. Let us let the people know. So pwede ra dai nana. So better not to use psychobabble pod nga mga words. Next is technobabble. So it is a form of jargon that uses buzzwords and esoteric language, specialized technical terms, or technical slang that is incomprehensible to the listener. So usually, kining technobabble is katura pong mga specific, no, mga technical people ang makasabot ani. For example, I reversed the polarity of neutron flow, no? Of which, unsa daw? So field man na niya, no, sa medicine, no? So very technical ang ang terms. So can you recall no sa to ang previous discussion katong report sa medical staff no katong na-discuss sa good kato of which tong pinakaunang nga example nato di jud ta kasabot no W/O mga ana-ana because very technical na kay ito no. Second is despite the implications of the special theory of relativity on faster than light travel, it can be done via wormholes. So meaning dili kita magstorya in any class if ato ang audience is dili sa diri nga field. However, kung diri nga field okay ra magamit og inani. However, kung ato ang target audience kay ang general audience, so meaning let us make it simple no sa atong mga output. So makabalot ta nga if ang written material is considered as plain language or we use plain language if our audience can find what they need, understand what they find, and use what they find to meet their needs. So ang pasabot ra ni class is that successful ta sa paggamit sa plain language if na-relay na tugtarong no atong information, atong tuyo of which sa sabtan ra pod sa audience. We have principles of plain language, no? According to Mayang. So, unsa man ni? First is readability. Second is organizing information. Third is designing an effective document. So, when we talk about readability, so it looks at words and sentences to measure how easy a document is to read, speed of perception, and visibility. So components of readability, first is content. So this pertains to the complexity of its vocabulary and syntax. So example, I suffer the punishment of tardiness versus procrastination makes me suffer its wrath. So mas OA kaayo no si ang second sentence no. Pwede raman day I suffer the punishment of tardiness. So kaysa sa mogamit pa jud kag kanang murag at some point kanang kuan kay no kanang grabe impact no procrastination makes me suffer its wrath. So just make it no pwede naman mo gamit ang procrastination makes me suffer its wrath as long as makasabot pod ang reader. Next is typography, pertains to font size, line height, and line length. So later ma-discuss man na nato, no? Second is organizing information. So this emphasizes how the write-up is structured. So giunsa nato pag-arrange, no? Ato ang information. So usually, naiuban niya, nagagamit og inverted pyramid, napoy uban niya pyramid, no? So mointag ang structure is inverted pyramid if nag-una siya sa conclusion, no? And essential information, then add supporting information, then related information. Sa pyramid naman, introduction una, expand arguments, and conclusion. So example, aning pyramid is that mga thesis, no? Maguna to sa introduction, ang last is ang conclusion. Sa inverted pyramid is pwede ni sa example is mga news, no? Of which una ang conclusion. Pito patay, tapos ang information or additional information kay nana sa baba. So depende sa atong atake ana no. So different write up different ang to ang attack no sa iyang structure. So depende na kung asay mas bagay. So example, so kamo na lay basa class ha sa example. So kini is naani sa baba ang kanang conclusion no. Dire is sa pika side, sa right side, conclusion una. So designing an effective document. So documents that are easy on the eye are easier to understand than more traditional styles. So effectiveness is the fulfillment of writing's goal. Okay. So let's now talk about design, no? Wait lang. Okay, so guidelines for good document design. First is, let's talk about the font style. So good fonts are easily readable and aesthetically pleasing. No? So italics add emphasis. So we can use or we can italicize, no? Magbutang tag italics sa ato ang write up, of which kato lang kung gusto na to emphasize. Ayo po di italics tanan, no? So bold type shows importance. So usually during pag musulat mo letter, pwede naman ta magbutag bold, no? Sa tong gusto na to i-emphasize. Ayo lang pud butang tanan, no? Isa ka sentencean gi-bold jud nimo, no? Pwede ra theme. Isa ka theme i-bold. Pero if dili inana ka importante, then dili na to gusto i-emphasize, let's not bold it, no? So dili na to i-bold. Then capital letters show emphasis. So usually kung capital letters makita ni nato sila sa kanang pinakataas, no, kanang chapter 1. So naka-capitalize tanan, no? Bulleted lists present key concepts quickly, no? Use tables often. So sa fonts, we can use serif fonts, no, for body text. We can also use sans serif fonts for headings or subheadings. So usually, sa pag sa atong output, no, sa technical writing, pwede man nga at least 2 ang atong gamiton nga fonts. Ayan lang pud gamita tanan, no. Kay basig in every word lahig font so makalibog, no. Dili pleasing tan-awon. Wait lang, class. Okay, next is which fonts are business appropriate. So what do you think? Asa man diri ang business appropriate nga font? Is it font 1, font 2, font 3, font 4, font 5? Sige daw. What do you think? Okay, you're right. No? So, mura na tag si Kuan ani class. Si Dora the Explorer. No? Asa man? Sure, wala na jud, maganahan na, no? Yes, you're right, no? Tama, font 4. So pwede ang gamiton is font 4 class, no? Font 4. This is business appropriate. I think this is Century Gothic, no? Usually po sa akong mga output sa technical writing, no? Pag magsulat og letters, memos, akong ginagamit jud nga font is Century Gothic. Tambukon gamay ba, tas mabasahan jud ayon. Next, which font set will work best for headings and body text? Asa man diri? Kini, first, second, third, or fourth? I can't hear you. Asa? So, pwede nga si heading 2 or si heading 4, no? So, pwede. Pero usually, atong gamiton lang is si heading 2, no? Kay, at some point, gubot mong tan-awon if nailinya, no? So, heading 2, ato ang gamiton. Question, how many fonts should you use in one document? So, pila man ka font ang pwede gamiton? Pila? Di ko kadungog. Charot. Kailangan class. What do you think? Tumpak, no? Tama. 2 lang, 2. At least 2. So, kay kung at most 2 di ay. No? At most 2. Kay kung more than 2, murag OA na kayo. Daga na kayo fun style, no? Which styles of bullets are business appropriate? Asa man diri ang bullet nga business appropriate? Asa? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? Yes, tama, no? Bullet style number 4. Okay, so we can use white space, no? To break information into units, signal selection breaks. So, which example has used white space appropriately? Kining sa left side or sa right side? Tama, no? Sa right side because, naa diri, nakabutang og white space. Kay para ma-emphasize nato nga lahi na siya nga kuan. Lahi na siya nga topic, no? Now let's talk about effectiveness. So basic principles of effectiveness in writing. First is write for your reader, not for yourself. So let's kanang dili na to i-practice, no, ang pagka-selfish, no? Kay kung selfish kita nga writer, dili sila mag-adjust, dili ako, no? Mga inana. Kini jud ang word nga akong gamiton, no? Kay ganahan ko ani kay pang bright, bahala na sila kasabot sila or dili. So dili, no? So dapat we should have to write, no, for our reader, not for ourselves. Then use pronouns when you can, no? We can use pronouns. Be careful when you use the pronoun we in a business letter since it commits your organization to what you have written. So better nga kung mugamit tag we, dapat we will make it sure nga tamang information. Then we are very much accountable, no? We are accountable sa unsa atong gisulat because nadamay man, no, ang atong organization since ato ang gigamit is we, no? Better nga dili lang kay tamo gamit og we, no? Kay para dili kayo labaw makistorya ta pwede, pero let's make it sure nga nindot, no, ang approach, no, okay ang letter nga atong ipadala. State your major points before making details, no. So dapat diretso na ta, no, sa atong major points. Limit each paragraph to one idea. So dapat one paragraph, one idea lang jud, no. Stick to your topic. So basig ma out of topic ta, no. So we should have to maintain, no, i-maintain na to ang output, no, nga nag-stick lang dito sa atong topic. Then write in active voice, no. The use of an active voice in your business writing will strengthen the overall delivery. So this will make our output less awkward and simpler. Then wordiness. Wordiness is taking more words than necessary to make your point. So better nga i-avoid nato, no, ang wordiness. So for example, wordy example, no, ikaw mo na lay basa class sa blah 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 blah. So ang edited example kay pwede ra man dain anak kababa, no, meaning mais TC 1968 allowed the taxpayer to exclude embezzled funds repaid during the same year but not those repaid in a later year. So pwede ra man day i-shorten. So dapat atong output kung pwede pa ma-shorten, i-shorten jud. Then use everyday words, no. Kay by that makasabot man dayon ang reader. Use headings, lists, and tables to make reading easier, no. So I think that's it, no, for our plain language. So to sum it up, when we talk about plain language, mo ito silang mga language of which masabtan diretso, no, wala na bulak-bulak class, no, di na tamo ana nga as time immemorial, no, magana-ana jud ka, no, as I remember na lang di ay, no, or mag supercalifragilistic jud ka dira expialidocious morning kay para ignon bright, no, very that's not good, no, in technical writing. Kay here in technical writing, we should have to give our information nga clear, no. Kung pwede simple words ang gamiton, simple words lang. Kay by that, bisan pag kinsa ang reader or ang audience makasabot, no. nahatag naman ako ang video pod sa audience. So, ang sunod ani plain language is the audience. So, kindly watch na lang the video, class, ha. So, if you have questions, you can raise your questions during our Zoom meeting, no? So, we will now have once a week na lang a Zoom meeting. So, with regards sa atong mga discussions, you can just watch it here sa YouTube, no? So, sa YouTube na lang mo magtanaw. So, if you have questions, kindly contact me sa atong GC or erase na lang palihog dito sa atoang Zoom meeting. So I think that's all for this morning class. I hope you're safe, no? Mag-amping ta perminte, and thank you so much and God bless. See you sa next na to nga video, no? Sa next na to nga topic. Sige, bye-bye.